For generations, rural Wisconsin communities have built their lives on quiet resilience. But today, many of these same towns are wrestling with severe emotional and spiritual crises. Families and veterans are facing down addiction, deep relational trauma, and profound grief, and they are looking for a lifeline. People in crisis usually face a difficult choice. On one side, secular clinical therapy offers necessary, rigorous structure, but it leaves out the spiritual grounding many rely on. On the other side, well-meaning church advice provides faith and prayer, but often lacks the clinical capability to safely unpack complex trauma. This leaves local pastors caught in the middle. Across the state, church leaders are drowning under the weight of severe mental health needs. They are fielding questions of deep despair and psychological pain that they simply do not have the professional training to hold alone. Navigating out of deep trauma requires a model that merges the strict safety infrastructure of modern mental health care with deep scriptural truth. That specific intersection is why Restoration Hope Ministries, or RHM, was established in Green Bay. RHM is a localized clinic built specifically to bridge the clinical and spiritual worlds by offering professional, Christ-centered counseling. The foundation of this clinic came from a place of intense personal crisis. 7 years ago, the founder, Dr. Jeffrey Gross, hit a breaking point. Enslaved to severe addiction and facing total ruin, he experienced a complete rescue and restoration through his faith. Because the ministry was born directly out of that darkness, the counseling here operates differently. It is rooted in earned empathy rather than detached observation. They understand the depths of a human crisis because they have survived it themselves. Personal empathy is the vital starting point for reaching someone in pain. But raw compassion, no matter how genuine, cannot safely or legally scale to help hundreds of people without a rigid professional structure holding it together. Executive Director Sarah Rosinsky translates that lived empathy into structured, trauma-informed clinical operations. She oversees the rigorous organizational systems that keep the clinic running safely and effectively. To handle the complex logistics of patient care, RHM integrates Theranest, an EHR, or electronic health record system. An EHR is a digital version of a patient's paper chart that securely manages scheduling, billing, and clinical notes. Theranest automates the routine steps of insurance billing and intake so the staff can focus entirely on the patients. For telehealth sessions, the clinic utilizes secure virtual platforms like Doxy.me to ensure that every virtual meeting is fully HIPAA compliant. HIPAA is a federal law that requires the protection and confidential handling of sensitive patient health information. After every session, counselors face the operational requirement of generating ethical SOAP notes. SOAP stands for Subjective, Objective, Assessment, and Plan, which is a standardized method used by healthcare providers to write clear, structured clinical documentation. This ensures both clinical accuracy and legal protection for the counseling process. Implementing flawless legal privacy and data security is an absolute prerequisite for creating a truly safe space where deep spiritual healing can occur without fear of exposure. Once a patient finds stability in isolated one-on-one therapy, their care path widens. They transition into structured community support programs like Living Free and Reboot Recovery, sitting alongside other believers fighting the exact same battles. As the clinic succeeds, surging demand creates a severe shortage of qualified counselors. To solve this supply problem, RHM built the Restoring Hope School of Biblical Counseling. They manufacture their own supply of leaders, actively feeding newly equipped counselors back into the clinic system to relieve pressure. This pipeline requires rigorous academic credibility. The school holds official accreditation from AATI, the American Accrediting Association of Theological Institutions, which enforces strict educational and ethical standards for seminaries. They also partner with CLSTG, the Christian Life School of Theology Global, to offer legitimate degree programs scaling all the way up to a doctorate. A truly sustainable ministry cannot merely treat the patients who walk through the door. Instead, it must simultaneously engineer an educational engine to train its own future healers from the inside out. With the clinic and the school operating in perfect interdependence, the focus shifts to a macro objective: The goal is to take this proven, self-sustaining Green Bay ecosystem and expand it into a statewide network, reaching all 72 Wisconsin counties. To finance a massive statewide expansion, RHM is targeting the Lilly Endowment's Exploring Christian Practices initiative. This grant program is designed to help organizations build the staffing, training, and digital infrastructure required for large-scale religious care. Building out this level of infrastructure requires immense capital. RHM is submitting a formal letter of interest to the Lilly Endowment, requesting $2.5 million to fund the Wisconsin Church Hubs initiative. To secure millions in institutional funding, a deeply personal mission of faith has to be successfully translated into rigorous administrative proof. That proof starts with strict compliance hurdles. Before the Lilly Endowment even considers the application, RHM must pass an IRS verification of their 501c3 status. A 501c3 is a specific tax-exempt classification for nonprofit organizations that ensures they operate exclusively for charitable or religious purposes. From there, the team must construct a precise financial architecture. They are required to formulate strict calendar year line item budgets that project every specific program expense across a full 5-year timeline. Navigating this grant means adhering to complex accounting rules set by the endowment. For instance, the budget must enforce a strict 10% cap on indirect administrative costs relative to the direct costs of running the actual programs. If approved, the grant will fund tangible digital assets to support the expansion. This includes a dedicated LMS, or Learning Management System. An LMS is a software application used to deliver, track, and manage online educational courses, which will drastically widen distance learning access across the state. The capital will also support physical infrastructure on the ground. The funds will be allocated for statewide care trainings, the development of mentoring pathways, and annual retreats to give exhaustive. The ultimate objective of creating Wisconsin Church Hubs for biblical care requires enormous financial and operational discipline. It proves that true, scalable compassion is only achieved when the genuine care of the heart is supported by a flawless ledger.